So, when you're looking at your business and how you're going to compete in the marketplace, the first step that you want to take a look at is how to compete within the industry. If you look at the environment, the competitive environment that you're working in. Okay. Now, when we talk about industry, we're talking about 5 major participants, and these ideas were put forth originally by a man named Michael Porter, P-O-R-T-E-R, and this is usually termed his 5 forces model. Okay, so when we describe an industry, we have at the center of your industry we have competitors. Okay. So the competitors are those organizations that are all trying to offer the same product or service within the market. Okay. Now, competitors have to constantly be on the lookout for new entrants into the market. Okay. They also need to be aware of substitute products, and they need to be aware of who their suppliers are and who their customers are. So this model that I'm drawing here is called the 5 forces model of the industry, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 forces that are interacting. We have rivalry among the competitors, so that kind of does a circular arrow there. Competitors are constantly trying to take profit away from each other. They can do this by cutting prices or putting pressure on the others or coming out with another service that enhances the existing product. Okay, so competitors are constantly fighting at each other, and because there's competition, then profits are going to go down. Okay. Similarly, we have suppliers. Now, suppliers, depending on their size, have something called bargaining power. Bargaining power means if you have a big supplier and you're a small customer, guess what? Who gets to set the price? They do. Have any of you ever thought of calling up Dell or HP and saying, I think your price is too high? If you're just buying one computer for your house, you don't have a lot of bargaining power. You can't set the price. You can't tell them, I want you to customize my product for me so I have a computer like no one else does. The larger suppliers have the bargaining power in that case. But let's flip it over. What happens if you're a big customer, or you have a big customer and you're selling something? Okay, so if you sell tickets to the PCC, for example, and one person comes along and says, you know, I think these prices are a little bit high. Can we get a discount? And you say no, because it's only one customer, right? But what happens if a tour agency comes and says, I want to buy 500 tickets. Can I get a discount? Then all of a sudden, your customers have bargaining power. This could be dependent on the size of their orders or their popularity and influence with other customers in the marketplace. A variety of things can give them bargaining power. Okay, so if you have really big customers, or it's easy for them to go to another competitor, or if you have really big powerful suppliers who are eating away at your profits by making you take whatever they're willing to give you at the price they dictate, then your profitability in your industry goes down. Okay, so you're not as strong. Let's talk about new entrants. Okay, these are new companies that want to do just what you're doing. So I see that you're selling corn. Guess what? I want to sell corn. How do I do that? I go out, I buy some land, I buy some corn, some fertilizer, hire people, and all of a sudden I'm growing corn too. That's called a low barrier to entry. How hard is it for someone to get started doing the exact same thing? If I'm selling hot dogs outside of Foodland, guess what? How hard is it to buy a hot dog stand? and to cook hot dogs and sell them. Not very hard. Now, if I'm selling semiconductor processor chips for computers, how hard is that to get it set up? It's really hard. Or how about jet planes? Jet planes are really hard to build too. You need lots of buildings, lots of material, and lots of expertise. So there's high barriers to entry there. So you always need to be watching what are the barriers to entry. If you want to do something, how easy is it going to be for someone to copy exactly what you're doing? And then we have the threat of substitutions. What substitute products could be offered instead of your product? For example, if you sell oil, what is a substitute for your product? Well, that depends on which industry or which market you're looking at. If you're selling oil to be used to burn and generate electricity, there are other products, alternative energy sources that could be used. If you're trying to provide some sort of, say, university education service, maybe a substitute product could be technical training by corporate trainers. They could go in and offer a similar substitutable product. Not quite the same thing, but it gets the job done. Okay, teeth brushing versus dentures could be considered a substitute on an extreme case, but you kind of get the idea. Okay, these are alternatives that aren't the same product but meet the same need. Okay, so you need to watch and see what available substitutions are out there. So that's Porter's 5 forces model. We use this to describe the industry that we're talking about. So how many competitors are in the space that we're trying to work in? Who are our suppliers? Who are our what are the barriers to entry for other competitors to come in? How strong and powerful are our customers? And what are the threat of substitutions? Ideally, you shouldn't have to work in an industry where all of these forces are very high or strong. Sometimes you'll have to worry more about your customers, sometimes your suppliers. If you're in some industries do have really strong forces and you're just the profitability and the return on investment isn't going to be all that high. So, but the first step to trying to figure out how you can compete, according to Michael Porter, is figuring out what your industry looks like.